revolutionizing marketing, the cutting-edge world of the marketing technology, MarTech, as we say, and it's powered by Havas Media. And this session is powered by Havas Media. We really thank them for their support as our platinum sponsors. So I would like to welcome Rohan Chincholi, who is the managing partner at Havas Media, and just a second. So Rohan boasts an impressive track record of over 14 plus years in the digital marketing industry. With unwavering dedication and expertise, he has been an integral part of Havas Media team for more than 12 years, steering and revolutionizing all things digital at Havas Media India. Notably, Rohan played a pivotal role in successful launch of Havas Market, a full-service e-commerce division introduced in India in 2022. His strategic vision and dynamic leadership have helped Havas Market carve a prominent space in the competitive digital landscape. He has garnered with well-deserved accolades, including the prestigious Social Samosa 40 under 40, AR 40 under 40, and Havas Planner of the Year awards. So let me join us with Rohit with a round of applause. Rohit, stage is all yours. Thank you.
Test 1, 2. Hope I'm audible. All right. I'll just get this on the side. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for being a part of this session today. My name is Rohan, not Rohit, so small correction there. But I lead digital services for Havas. The session today that we have is Media and Marketing in Motion. Now, generally, you would have had a very interesting session just before this. But I think what you will see is more from a media lens. What are really agencies looking for? What are the key trends that perhaps are shaping the media and marketing side, which have a direct bearing on how your investments or efficiency on your investments really will play out, right? So starting off quickly with the session, because starting out late and I have to finish this by sharp 4:20, so I'll get to the point. This was what classic marketing was and advertising, right? Awareness, interest, desired action. But that changed. And it changed to a very complex fishbone design. I mean, think of this, right? Today, if you have to buy any device, anything online, you are going through multiple touch points. You're looking at a review, you're looking at an influencer talk about it, you're going on the website, you're perhaps seeing an unboxing video, you're asking your friends. All touch points are equally important. The challenge in digital marketing space is that there is a fallacy of last click. The challenge is that the last click converts is entirely not true. It's the journey that makes a difference. And an interesting fact here is, even if I take 10 touch points only, a 10 factorial is 3.6 million unique paths to conversion. Yes, the ecosystem is complex, and which is where the marketing side of it really came into play, right? They said, okay, there are not just 10, but many touch points. Now, how do we add science and logic to all of this? On the top hand side, you see, which is multi-touch attribution. Measure each channel, the contribution to conversion, then find combination of touch points that are converting, and then obviously lastly give weightages to each channel on their contribution to success. Second is market mix modeling, which most of you would still know in the room, right? Statistical analysis, identifying the paths that are leading to conversions, giving weighted averages, and even looking at how investments need to really go into. Right? So this is the complexity of digital marketing, MarTech, everything coming into play, and various solution providers coming to kind of resolve this. A very interesting engine that we call it, right? On one end is measurement, the second end is creative and communication, on the third end is data platforms, and the fourth is customer modeling. The first one, measurement, is largely about a single lens on your customer. If you are able to measure it right, get a holistic tracking in place, and I have very dedicated section talking about how the tracking, end-to-end tracking is happening, how do you take the data, how do you add science to it, how do you use third-party data to draw insights, and then how do you activate it for your campaigns. Creative and communication, while centralized creative management platform, at a click of a button, we are in this AI session, you can create creatives in multiple languages, multiple sizes, multiple backgrounds. I'll show you some samples. DCO, which we already know, well, the challenge also is DCO may very soon not exist, because Google Chrome browser ending cookies by 2024 impacts DCO and 7 other such features which I'll talk about. Then data platforms, 3 core elements: DMP, data management platform; CDP, customer data platform; and then CRM data. How do you put all this to use? How do you kind of use this science, right? Draw 3 Venn diagrams. DMP garners or collects data. Its only purpose is to collect data. CDP is trying to add insights and logic to it. Now, how does CDP do that? You get a first-party data, overlay with the third-party data that you already have, with data partnerships that you've perhaps done, or you can partner with and create insights and addressable segments for audience. CRM, largely managed by sales, limited intervention, but working with the CRM data, very specifically HEMS, which is hashed email IDs, will really have a lot of channelizer to media efficiencies. Last is a lot about customer modeling. I'll skip this part, but I'll talk about it in a different lens. Now, this is the Gartner hype cycle. The Gartner hype cycle has 5 phases, right? The first one is innovation trigger, then peak of inflated expectations, then there is trough of delusionment, slope of enlightenment, and plateau, right? Now, in this entire map, it's important to say that all are equally important, but they are in different phases. Trigger is where something new sparks up, and the industry may start talking about it and start becoming relevant. Peak of inflated expectation is 2 or 3 use cases have happened, huge publicity, but whether it will become mainstream, still there is ground to cover. Trough of delusionment is a little bit of a challenge. A lot of products come into the market. Some perhaps don't see the light of the day as much. They get into a phase 2, phase 3 sort of a development, and then if they are successful, then you move quickly to slope of enlightenment and then even towards plateau. The last one, plateau, is where most of them are becoming mainstream. Well, if you really talk about trends, there are many that we can talk about, but highlighting very specific few, right? First, we'll talk about AI. That's the nature of the session. I am sure there has been a lot of AI overload, but I'll only show you samples and visuals that can help you understand that AI is just not for media or content or creative. There are many uses for AI, and that I'll talk about. And then influencer marketing. Again, a bigger challenge today is you ask any brand manager, influencer marketing is important. So how do you select influencers? Oh, well, we reach out to the agency and they give us influencers. Now, how does the agency select the influencers? Oh, I think these are the good influencers with 2.5 million followers. Is that the right way of selecting? No, there has to be a change in how you even select influencers. I'll talk about that. Conversational marketing, touching upon something which is in the space of conversational and meme marketing. Now remember, any marquee event that happens in India or anywhere in the world, the first thing that most of the brands do is say, let's go and make a creative for this and be ready for it. Right? So we'll talk about that. Identity resolution, accept it or not, end of 24, Chrome, the last browser to support cookies, will stop supporting it. What happens to all the media targeting that we have been doing so far? Basic question, does DCO exist? It will not. Does frequency capping exist? It will not exist. So what is the alternative? Identity resolution is one of such. I will also talk about 5 other such possibilities. Then lastly, shoppable media. I will actually show you a online shopping factory, and you'll be surprised to see that in just a small outpost, there are so many rooms full of people doing live shopping feeds for people to enable buying, right? So I'll talk about that. So quickly moving on to AI, I will not touch upon whether it will take away jobs or not, but I feel that 1 + 1 = 11 is a possibility. Use the power of AI to kind of extrapolate the output that you can do and achieve, right? Interesting facts, ChatGPT, 1 million users, 5 days. Instagram took 2.5 months. Today, ChatGPT, as also mentioned somewhere in the forum, 100 million users by Jan 23, active users, that's a bigger number. But then, I think this is where the difference has been, right? So if you look at the chart on the right, the orange one talks about AI, popularity of any keyword, and the blue one is ChatGPT. It was pretty much stagnant, but the moment ChatGPT picked up, the entire AI spectrum picked up. And which is why generative AI, which is a subset of the entire AI space, according to Gartner, still has about 2 to 3 years to become mainstream, and it will. I think today ChatGPT is used in copywriting, framing, better emails, also maybe creating content for your website and many other uses. Now the difference, right? We have spoken about AI. The session talks about AI completely. Then there is machine learning, then deep learning, and then GAI, which is generative AI. AI is where a human intervention is required. You will have to give a string of queries, what it needs to do, and it picks up from human. Machine learning also learns from its own set of algorithms, consults human when the output is wrong. Deep learning technically doesn't require any form of human intervention, and then GI, which is a subset of deep learning, right? So that is the kind of market that we're looking for. But AI has always been there, right? The first one is a study by Alan Turing, where he created 2 systems. In fact, there were 3 portals. On one portal, a human used to sit. Second portal, a computer-generated response used to happen. And the third one used to be, again, a human response. Now, the guy in the first portal used to ask questions in the form of text to portal A and B. And based on the questions and any questions that he can ask, he had to identify which one was a machine and which one was, actually the human, right? So 1950, we are talking about. Again, 1977, everyone loves, for people who know C3PO, I think very advanced AI system, already been shown. Electric Dreams, again, I think there was this movie where this this person gets a computer and then finally also talks about Internet of Things, starts operating various household appliances with the power of, computers. So that exists. Furby, which was a toy, got banned in the premise of NSA very specifically, assuming that, it is kind of, reading or listening to human data. But this was a toy which could answer to children and had the fastest growing, I think, 1 million sales. So this was again one other example. Then you have the robot, and everyone knows Sophia. And I think Saudi Arabia has also given citizenship to Sophia. So AI is also starting to become, having citizenships now. So I think we are in the right forum as well. But those were, what happened, right? Now, simple forms of AI, spam, so much of spam keeps coming, yet a lot gets still filtered because of AI. We keep swiping, hearing content, seeing content, and we keep seeing similar content, again AI, unlocking phone, right? So basic uses of AI. Now, AI has about 5, more than 5, but I'm talking about 5 streams: create content, and creatives at a click of a button, chat experiences. I mean, we all had that Swiggy or Zomato experience. My food didn't get delivered on time, so-and-so, 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 auto response, refund completed. Web experiences. Imagine going to the same site for the 3rd time, and the website knows a lot about you. Oh, these were the 5 products that you viewed, and you perhaps might also like these 7 products. Becomes a very interesting case. And I will also talk about, from a research and insights when I end the presentation, that why should agencies like us, right? Why should we rely on Excel? Just give a command and maybe the report gets populated. So I'll give you an example on that. And lastly, marketing operations. Well, if we had to really put logos of every single AI player, there will be many, many to showcase here. And it's impossible for me to know each and every single logo here, but there's AI solution by everyone. In fact, yesterday at the TIE event as well, there was AI solution for hiring, which reduces time for placements at the placements department to kind of facilitate faster hiring based on the cultural fitment of the organization. So I think lots happening there, right? And then there are many others. I have a very interesting video to showcase that is around natural language processing to some extent, but there are many other streams of AI. But before I go to the video, just 3 slides more. There are challenges to AI like hallucinations, because you are feeding a set of data and it starts thinking in its own manner. Because one is hallucination, AI bias. I mean, ChatGPT's data in the free version extends only till September 21, right? So that's a bigger problem. I mean, whatever inputs that you're getting as of now is still 2 years dated. So number two, AI bias can happen, no latest updates. Job loss, job change, we'll not talk about it. Misinformation is possible, and because so much of content gets created, and the famous people, I think, I mean, this came out some time back, and these were AI-generated images again, to say that, there is a power to literally create anything, and this also gets into the debate of fake news. Now, with power of AI and already a fake news and a WhatsApp university in play, I think we need to be a little more judicious in years to come on how we start accepting. And interestingly, Platform X now starts giving you that demarcation on this content may not be what it actually is talking about, right? Some more examples, which I'm sure you're all seen, whether it is Indian celebrities getting aged, or global politicians with the Indian avatar, or some Superman flying across Mumbai, or Jim Jam factory. I mean, anything is possible. I mean, just think of it. All you have to do is input and it will create. I mean, think of the weirdest example and it will generate an image. It might not be close, but it will definitely generate, right? So requesting to play only the right side of the video once. Only the right side of the video. I mean, just imagine just clicking this one photograph and you're done. The background changes, and I'm sure you've seen such examples. And then you can place the product anywhere, write, copy, whatever it is. So opportunities to this scale extent exists. And this is one other example. I'll skip through the avatar part of it. Very interesting case. It'll be 2 minutes, but you will definitely like power of AI, AI Learning Bible, trying to popularize a famous show in the UK, and the kind of responses that we will created. So quickly playing this. Can you play the video, please? Volume.
Of sinners to be found there, and by replying to each of their posts in real time with witty answers and quoting. There's a new pope in town, His Holiness Pius XIII, and he has his own series on Canal Plus, The Young Pope. Different, unconventional, iconoclast. He decided to show the world how modern he is, not by shouting it from the balcony of the Vatican, but rather on social networks, by addressing in particular the millions of sinners to be found there, and by replying to each of their posts in real time with witty answers and quoting only the Bible.
Steven, just shut up and go fuck yourself.
Love each other in the same way that I have loved you. John 15:12.
Trump just called Clinton a nasty woman. Bitch seems more appropriate.
Avoid all perverse talk. Stay away from corrupt speech. Proverbs 4:24.
But since this man is not a god, just a pope, and since he has to answer millions of people, we gave him a digital aid in the form of an artificial intelligence, shaped in his image, powered by IBM Watson, and baptized Amen. It knows the 39,000 verses of the Bible as well as he does, thinks like him, and is as compassionate and humorous as he is.
Freshly arrived pizza. Time to feast.
But when you give a feast, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind. Luke 14:13.
Flagrant foul on Ronaldo. Is the referee fucking blind?
Be silent, and I will teach you wisdom. Job 33:33.
Just run 10 kilometers in 50 minutes. Who's the best, losers?
Do not keep talking so proudly or let your mouth speak such arrogance. Samuel 2:3.
Practical when you're dealing with millions of people. 1 million replies generated by our artificial intelligence. 4 million people reached. The best launch for a series in France. Not bad, right?
Vanity of vanities, all is vanity.
So that should give you a good example of possibilities even from a media lens. Moving on to influencer marketing. Like I mentioned, everyone needs influencer marketing. But if you ask the influencer, can you tell me what kind of audience do you appeal to? I think everyone knows, but they will never share the statistics. Now, how do you pick the right set of influencers, especially when there is a big question on credibility? How many of the influencer followers are notable or fake? Are their engagement rates as per industry standard, low, high? There's a big conversation that's also happening in this space. And India has 80 million content creators today. Sorry. And everyone is creating content. So as the numbers go up, the entire question of picking the right influencers becomes even more critical. We know about this different set of influencers. I'll not get into these details. But let's take an example. I think this was one of the examples that we had pulled for Puma India. And there are about 28,000 fitment. But then we said that, if the credibility score is low, cut it out. So half of the influencers went out of the bucket and just half remained, right? So one simple parameter on credibility score helps you identify the right set of influencers, number one. And I'll skip to the screenshots. Now here is another example. For example, Shyam Tyagi. I don't know whatever his current engagement rates are, but his audience credibility was on the lower side, right? So otherwise, prima facie, anyone will look and say that, the profile looks good and he has X number of followers, so we should go ahead. The challenge in this space and a big trend change that will come, regulation has already come into this now. Influencers are supposed to reveal that they are actually doing this as a form of brand endorsements, but at the same time, for brands, who do you really select? Something like this becomes handy. Take 23 odd variables that Havas provides you with, and by age, location, engagement rates, authenticity scores, number of followers, category they have relevance to, and it will drop down and give you a set of influencers. Only on this specific case, you can sign up for the demo at Havas Cafe. But just the pure fact that, to have a detailed insight about influencers on multiple parameters, there are views, average count, average comments, how have their growth rate been, everything at a click of a button. Now, something like this is also going with the narrative of not only following the government regulations, but also ensuring that, while following that, maybe your investments will go down, but at least you choose the right influencers by category, right? And then post that is the next question, what do they really do with the brand that you're wanting to do? And a few more analysis to follow. Again, I think there is an interesting video here. I'm just requesting them to play. Slightly on a different angle. I will not play the video, but let me explain about the video. So what we did was for Tata Motors commercial vehicle, we asked, and this was for commercial vehicle, right? So trucks. We said, who are the true influencers for trucks, right? If you can't pick up the standard lot from any of them. So we said, why don't we make the truckers the influencers? So we ran a campaign called Photo OK Please, where we reached out to all the truckers from the Tata and the non-Tata ecosystem. Now, what did we tell them? Because truckers are the only people who traverse to the length and breadth of India and see the scenic side of India that perhaps eludes most of us who are in the urban, busy life, right? So we said, and asked the truck drivers, wherever you go, if you see that scenic side of India, click the photograph and send it on the WhatsApp, dedicated WhatsApp number. We had about 23,000 plus photographs sent by truck drivers only. And then, we took these photographs, we created an exhibition of this, one other way of selecting influencers, right? So there are many other ways. This was one such example. Due to time, I wanted to cover the next 3 interesting topics as well, so kind of summarize that. But when you reach out to me, this video is again available on YouTube, so just enter photo OK please and you will find the data. End of third-party cookies, again, most relevant. Lot of it is going off, right? So big earthquake, cookies are going, cookies are diminishing. What do we do next? Does Google have a solution? Google is still WIP. No reason, that's the reason why they've kind of pushed this 2 times in a row right now. Now really happening towards the end of 24, which will more or less happen, right? So what really impacts? But before that, right, an interesting statistics, when iOS launched this opt-in and opt-out of tracking, surprisingly only 15% opted in for traffic, for tracking, everyone else opted out, right? Now that's a big indicator on why the success of cookieless future is going to be definitely there, and it's going to be critical as well. So just for an example, first party is people come to your website, your data, first party. Third party are cookies that are stored in other third party websites. The second one is what is going to diminish. Now the impact, right? Targeting gets impacted because now you don't have DCO, you don't have advanced tracking to kind of pinpoint person. You can only pinpoint a cohort to the maximum extent. So targeting gets impacted. If the brands wanted a frequency cap of 5 per week per user, might go off. Verification, again, is going to be a challenge in terms of ad verification that we are doing. Lookalike modeling gets impacted. Then again, measurement. And lastly, DCO. Now all these streams are going to get impacted, which is where the industry is really working. And there are multiple partners other than Google who are trying to create a solution. And one such example that we believe in is called identity resolution. And I'll give you those examples as well. So first is unique ID. This is one way of Havas and many others to think of channelizing. And within this, we use ID5 as a technology. Contextual targeting, everyone knows, being in the right place, ecosystem, this still works. Hashed email IDs have fabulous success rate, especially because your devices can change, which is your device ID. Your cookies, which will anyways get diminished, that keep changing based on your browsing pattern, but your email IDs are still longevity, have a longevity. Then you have first party data, which is what we spoke about. If people come to your site, try and put them under a DMP and a CDP and try and utilize that because your media investments are going there. And then the fifth one, which Google is doing, right? One is Flock, federated learning of cohort, starting to put people in buckets and targeting that bucket, hoping that that bucket kind of leads to conversion because eventually the market is more towards very performance-driven centric. And lastly, the power of AI. I mean, programmatic platforms already have this, but there are many other solutions within that, like Sybids, which will create custom algorithms to what you want in terms of the output. These are some of the things, trusted tokens around fraud management, fraud safety. So Flock, Topics API, and then Fledge. This is the kind of roadmap that Google has, not going into the details of each of them, but 2024 Q3 is where we are looking for. So right, there's still, it's near, and some solutions we should start hearing by end of this year. ID5 is one such technology. I'll not play the video, but I'll kind of perhaps share this with the team here at TI, and then they can perhaps share this across. But that is one such example. There are multiple solution providers available, and this has a success rate about 50% in terms of giving the first party data and getting a match rate in place. And
Digital
with that, all right. Well, this is, again, an interesting one, right? I'm requesting, can you just play the Durex video? And it's a very good example because most of the brands just congratulated, right? If you can just hover on, yeah, perfect. So again, something that Havas manages. Again, the reason why I put this example is because one of the strategies, and I'll talk about it in the next slide, and then one other example is Zomato, right? So moments or marketing around moments is something that is becoming very popular right now, and every brand is kind of gearing up to see what content can be created. All right. So interestingly, very clear statistics, 20 to 30 rupees are paid to about 1.5 lakh creators for each meme that they create. So there are a set of people who are constantly creating memes, and there is someone ready to purchase them, which is where content like Teja Mein Hu, Mark Idhar Hai sort of content keep coming up, and there are multiple pages. The good part about this is that here is where you will actually get the engagement rate. As a brand, you put any sort of content, it will not garner the engagement rate that some of these posts do, right? So this is an important element. But then what is marketing around moments, right? Is it only about getting a creative in place? It is also about media. For example, if a batsman hits a six and your mobile device immediately has an ad unit which says, have 10% off for celebrating the six by XYZ cricketer, that is also moment marketing. So we'll show you a case on that too. Now, what is important, right? So one is timeline. Timeline is extremely critical because, obviously you get the movement marketing space well. As agencies or brands, we need to be prepared of both the outcomes. Whether it's, output A or output B, the creative needs to be ready. So it's not that Abhi Chandrayaan 3 just landed, now I will go and make the creative. It is already made. So I think that is an important element. Then obviously having relevance is extremely critical, followed by creativity and visual appeal. Similarly, we have authenticity. I think the reason why I was actually showing the Durex case was more for authenticity. Now, it just didn't congratulate, right? It still stuck to its core, what it always communicates, and tried to twist the movement marketing around that space, as again saying, congratulations. So I think it's a very good example. And no doubt, I think Durex is making huge strides in the way social content and movement marketing needs to be managed. I think it's a case study by itself. But then there are humor and wit, again, very critical. If you can't make the audience laugh or feel awe about, then I don't think the content really works, and everyone likes lighthearted content. But while doing that, we shouldn't move away from what the brand stands for, because then, this is slightly a thin line between what liberty you can or can't take. And lastly, it's a long-term strategy, not that, you just come in, wish for an Independence Day, and then again not do anything else for the next 1 year. Doesn't work. It has to be an approach. Amul, as an example, a lot of brands have taken inspiration from Amul. Even Tata Motors did its Chota Hathi, because Tata Ace was popularly known as Chota Hathi around the movement marketing and topical space. Very interestingly, conversations have started moving more towards memes as well. I will just ask him to play the video for a second. But, this is what is happening on social, right? One after the other, you are just sending memes to each other. And that's about it. That's one way of also communicating, which is also a new part of social media. You don't really need to talk to your friend other than the important elements, right? So this is again happening. And this was a case on
FIFA World Cup 2018.
Slightly dated, but important one.
The biggest sport event was back this year. Here in India, millions watched it live on TV. Goals, penalties, red cards, free kicks. Can a brand capture all the excitement and turn them into powerful brand moments? Tata Motors, a leading automobile brand in India, wanted to reach young business entrepreneurs for their commercial vehicle, Tata Ace Gold. These go-getters were sure to tune into the hottest event on TV, FIFA World Cup 2018. Tata Motors needed to grab their attention in the most unique way possible. So they unleashed a moment marketing campaign like no other. They used live FIFA moments to trigger mobile ads in real time. Powered by advanced cross-screen technology, viewers of the FIFA World Cup were instantly identified during the live matches. All of them immediately saw ads related to live football moments on any app they opened on their phones. Whether it was music, games, news, e-commerce, and so on.
Brilliant goal! What an
So
equaliser!
I think that is again taking the power to the next level of what you can do with data, right? And then there is, when you're typing, you have conversational topics, again, something that Bobble AI does very well. That's something that we had used for Wrestling Federation of India. I'd put some examples, not the best ones, but as you type, you can perhaps use some of them doing this. And here are some of the examples of some of the posts, right? Moving to the last part of the section, which is social commerce. And I'll kind of simplify this to a large extent now. Social commerce is anything that will help you buy online. And about 462 million social users in India, they are preferring to actually buy, products by either seeing the content on social media or by clicking on that. And there are ad units created very specifically for e-commerce, and so is the influencer space. Use Rohan 20 as a code and get 20% off, again social commerce, right? Second, you're viewing a product and you click on that product and are automatically diverted to the specific page of that product. That's again social commerce. Take a phone, scan a QR code. So there are multiple elements of social commerce, but I want to show a very interesting video about that. Now, important because number one, enhanced customer engagement, better average order value, steady audience growth, then better search engine rankings and consumer insights. These are critical ones that really help move this. What we also do is we also look at the forecasting. What is the potential, what value, what sales can happen. This is overall from a social commerce standpoint. We assess the social commerce content and make content a little more shoppable. Then shoppable media campaigns, holistic e-commerce plan, something that we are able to push, and data analysts. But that's about the methodology or process to kind of activating social commerce. But I'm requesting them to play the right side video. They're calling it Social Selling Factory. In India, you're seeing Amazon with a live shopping feature, but look at where the future is headed towards. This is the Indonesia one on the right-hand side. Requesting you to play the right side video and look at the scale and just think about what the future could be.
Join sama kita. Terus sampai belakang sana.
And again, it's all categories as you see the video. It's fashion, it's health.
Ini juga jualan.
It's electronics.
Jualan. Ini ada yang jualan PlayStation ini.
Gaming.
Ini ada yang lagi ngedance.
If you really think about what will unlock social commerce in the next 2 years, maybe lesser, is going to be perhaps live shopping. And having that one-on-one experience, people can put it in the chat, ask questions, get a better unboxing feel than how the influencer would have done it. So that's one such example that we plotted. 2 questions. How does social commerce fit into my overarching approach to e-commerce? Whatever your marketing investments are, e-commerce is a part of it. And within e-commerce, whether you use Google, Meta, Amazon, Amazon ads, or in this case, social commerce has an element from Amazon, has an element from Meta that can be activated. How ready are consumers for social commerce? I believe the consumers are ready. I think it's for brands to start offering this type of content. On measurement, I'll just take one slide and I'll end it there. Just this one. There is so much of data across multiple touch points. It needs to be consolidated somewhere. And then there needs to be a science to build logic, dashboards on top of that. So the first one is the data source, wherever you're getting data from. Then collection, like Google or Amazon. And then you obviously have visualization through Funnel.io or Tableau or whatever, which results in something like this, gives you a deeper insight in terms of impression, click, what asset, how is it working, how are your KPIs, every single metric. So I think that becomes like a holistic view of how you can measure with all the data across various streams. So that's the summary of it, and thank you very much for listening, and if there are any questions, happy to take, but thank you very much for being very patient with me, and yes, please.
Only one question.
Yes.
Yeah, just one question. Mike.
Hi, my name is Vikram. My question to you is, with the rise in data privacy regulations, what do you think, how do MarTech will deliver performance, targeted marketing while delivering, and ensuring compliance while delivering targeted marketing?
All right, I think if I got your question right, Personal Data Protection Bill 23 is passed. I think it talks a lot about how you store data, who is responsible for, activating the data, what qualifies as a PII data or a non-PII data. But at the same time, not really still even time for me to understand its implication on the overall media and marketing ecosystem. But I think 3 things are critical. One is consent. Take consent from users wherever you're collecting data. Clean policies and terms and conditions. Today you install an app and at the pace at which you keep say accept without even going through any terms and conditions, make that easy and non-legal for the consumers as well, so that they understand what they are getting into and how the data is operated. I think these two could be something.
All right, but like you said that only 15% of people, accept cookies.
No. 15% of the example of 15% was when iOS started out of opt-in or opt-out on tracking. 15% opted in, 85% opted out. Cookies will phase at the end of 24. Cookies are very much active right now, and Chrome is the last browser to support cookies. All other browsers that you know of do not support cookies at all.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay.